live edition of Speak On It podcast. This is a special live Chalk Talk episode, fresh off of Game 2 of Boston versus Brooklyn. I am not alone. I'm your host, Big Mike, and I'm here. We're running with my man, Podcast Poppy, in the building.
Yeah, whatever.
Anthony is here. We are here to wrap up Game 2 of Boston and Brooklyn, and what a game we had. Those of us watching us live on Twitch, we appreciate it. We jumping right into it. This is what a game, and woo! Brooklyn fell apart in the fourth quarter, but I'm gonna let Dylan go off. But I'm just gonna give my quick take, because this came up in the chat after game 1 and it came true. We all said there was no way that Kevin Durant would play bad 2 games in a row, and Kevin Durant played bad 2 games in a row. And now my antennas are up because he needs to play better. Like now. Like not tomorrow, not game 4, like now he needs to play better. I think it's safe to say, he is getting outplayed by Jason Tatum.
Yes. This game, maybe, because everybody played terrible this game. Like literally everybody, and Jason Tatum literally started making like consistent shots in the last 3 minutes of the game, where he made like 2, and then like that was it. But he also had a terrible performance. On top of it, no stars really came to play at all.
Jaylen Brown played big in that fourth quarter.
The Celtics guys came up big, but then when you take a look at like the box score and what actually went on,
it looks sloppy.
It's not a good look. This, to me, like we'll eventually get to it, was an all-time bad Steve Nash game.
Oh yes,
all-time bad Steve Nash game.
Oh,
and
yes.
He needs to do something, because the way they're getting Durant the ball to try to get his shots is not like they did a good job in the first half of getting Durant shots off ball, pin down, setting him up on the block. But like there's constantly a shadow. There's constantly a shadow on Kevin Durant this whole series. And there's going to be. They're doing a really good job because he picks up the ball so low on his pull-ups.
2 shadows, actually.
The main guy doesn't count. There's just going to be another shadow. So, like, no matter where Durant is, he's going to do it. And then this was an all-time... last game, game 1 was the worst Kevin Durant game I think I've seen. And then this game happened.
This game. I think he might have been worse tonight than he was.
Yeah, no, it was because he was missing open jump shots today.
Yeah, he was just missing... He was getting stripped. He was, bouncing the ball off his foot.
Yeah.
I've never seen Kevin Durant.
And this is why numbers are so deceiving, because if you didn't watch this game, you look at his stat line, he had like 25 points.
Yeah, but like his stat line is not deceiving at all. He shot terrible. And then he had another 6-7 turnover game.
I forgot Kyrie was on the court.
That's another reason why
this goes back to why it's an all-time bad Steve Nash game. But like I took extensive notes in the game for this. Anthony, you think I'm playing? Like,
you're not playing. You're not playing at all.
That's why it's like when you came in, and you're like, "Yo, Brooklyn's getting all the foul calls." I'm like, "Well, actually, not really."
KD shot like 21 free throws.
I know. I know.
This again, in my opinion, was a very poorly officiated
but
game.
You know what the issue was?
This is one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen.
No, but you know what the issue was? You have 2 stars on each team. 1 star woke up, Jaylen Brown. He woke up.
He played tough.
And he started to do his thing in the fourth. Tatum he made some big shots.
We got some big shots. Like that 3
Yeah.
Hit was just like, all right. I knew that was going in the second I saw it leave his hands. I was like, oh, that's a bucket. It's over.
It was a team effort by the Celtics when you think about it. Horford's doing his thing. What's his name? Pryder? Is that his name?
Pritchard.
Yeah, Pritchard. Yeah.
Pritchard, I didn't expect Pritchard to have the game he had.
Yeah, Marcus Smart had a great game.
He was giving buckets.
Cooking. He was
Yes.
cooking Steph Curry. I
But
couldn't believe what I was watching. He was cooking him, calling for the play, calling for ISOs. I was like, who is this man? Who? And I mean, chopping him up on the dribble too. Like,
No,
oh
but my
no,
thing is the thing
oh
that concerned me
no.
about Brooklyn. The thing that concerned me about Brooklyn. What happened to the ball movement? It was
Stop.
like it
Stop.
all-time
stopped.
bad Steve Nash game.
Stop.
Because what happened to those corner threes that Seth Curry was getting, that Bone was getting? Like, what happened? Like, where did all that go? It just all vanished. It just became a lot of KD's just trying to run around
It's
the court,
hero.
trying to make something happen.
But I'm. The series is not over, and Brooklyn is way too good. But this is the problem that I would have with it.
But you didn't
It
expect
was
this,
just
though.
hero ball. It was just hero ball,
Yeah,
hero
just
ball,
massive
hero
hero
ball.
brawl, man.
And it's that's not going to, especially against this Boston team. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. You know why Brooklyn was blowing them out in the first half? Because Bruce Brown had 12 points.
Mm-hmm.
Other guys were getting involved. Like once all that
Tragic.
stopped, Brooklyn's offense, it looked like they had two plays in their whole playbook, and it was get the ball to KD, do a screen, a pick and pop with KD and Kyrie. That was their entire offense. Like these dudes are too good to try and keep doing that over and over again.
The problem was in the
Mhm.
first half, right? They were so focused on defense that was turning into offense. Bruce Brown to start the Nets went on a 9-0 run to start the game, right? And Bruce Brown had 5 of those 9. And one of them was a corner 3 off of a driving dish, and the other one was a literally transition dunk, just thrown right to him. So like, let's get right into it then, right? Let's go quarter by quarter to think about it really quick. The first quarter notes are pretty small because I missed the majority of it because I was at baseball practice. But so Nets were, I don't remember the exact score of it, but the first quarter literally was nothing but turnovers and sloppy play outside of their initial 9-0 run, where they were just there was one possession, like there was a 1 point in the game in the first quarter where there was just 4 turnovers straight. on back to back on for both the Nets and the Celtics. 4 turnovers straight. And I'm just like, what's even happening? And then when I'm actually finally able to sit down and like watch the game, like the Celtics are on, like the Nets are I think on like a 10-2 run to finish up, and then Grant Williams hits back-to-back threes within the final 45 seconds to take to shorten it back to a 9-point lead. At this point, going into the second quarter, Nets defense held Smart, Tatum, and Brown to 1 for 8 shooting as a whole. So this is where it's gonna that's gonna tell the story so far.
Because they played defense.
They played great defense. Second quarter, Grant Williams opens up from 3. Bang. First shot of the quarter. Bangs it home, makes it a 6-point lead. Then Dragic comes up. After their initial substitution, Dragic hits a nasty spin layup in transition. At this point, Tatum is struggling from the field, but doing a great job facilitating. This is at like the 9:02 mark in the game with 5 assists. Bruce Brown at this point, more involved in the defensive side and just like being on the court, actually doing something because game 1 did nothing. At this point, Bruce Brown is 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. That's the 7:42 mark before I even do anything. Smart then sparks a 5-point lead or a 9-0 run where he scores 5 of the 9, hitting 1 free throw, missing the second one. Tice hits the layup. He hits a 3, and then he gets a transition layup. Brooklyn at this point has lost complete control of the pace and needs to slow it down because at this point I think they had 3 turnovers in another 35 seconds. Nets were out rebounding Boston. Defenders keep closing on KD, allowing for Brooklyn to kill them on the boards. Currently, at this point, was 18-8 rebounds. 3 Nets were with 4 boards, and Durant with 3. Then I made a funny note. Horford flexes on an and 1 when he's been getting killed on boards all night.
That is one thing y'all did good today. That is one thing y'all did good today.
He flexed when Drummond went out of the game.
They were down 12, and he flexed, and I was like, "Really, bro?"
Y'all did kill Boston on those second opportunities, though. Like
in the first half.
In the first half.
Tatum then hit his first field goal of the game in the final. His first 2 field goals of the game in the final minutes of the half.
Because he got mad because Claxton fouled him hard, and he got mad, and then all of a sudden, bang! I think he got a turnover, then bang again, and I was like, oh, they woke him up because him and Claxton got a double technical. I remember,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden, Jason Tatum went Kobe on us and just was like, nah, I'm mad. And thankfully the half ended because y'all might have been in trouble because he had that look on his face.
Don't worry, we were in trouble. At this point at halftime, Nets were shooting 60% from the field, Boston 48%. We were leading on boards 19-13. Scoring leaders were Bruce Brown 14, Dragic 16, KD 15. Celtic scores were Grant 13, Al 10, and Tice with 7.
And at this point, I'll cut you right there. I'm still thinking Brooklyn's good. I'm like, all right, they're playing great defense. They're getting rebounds. It's good. Tatum had his little flurry, but it's halftime. Everybody will collect themselves. And in my mind, I'm like, I still haven't really heard from Kyrie yet, so it's just a matter of time.
That was my thought process too, but I was like, there's no way Udoka's going to go into this and is not going to change up anything he's doing because the defense they were running just wasn't working.
It wasn't working. You're right about that.
And then they went back into, we're going to keep everything half court, and we're going to make sure Brooklyn doesn't get into transition because we're going to crash the boards again because they just did not crash the boards at all. But then the third quarter is when things started to like change officiating wise, which is when like I was like, this is there. The refs have took control of this game.
Like you could feel it. It was different.
All right. So third quarter, Tatum opens up the second half with a missed shot. Then it goes back to an offensive rebound. That's when I knew that's what their focus was. They're going to crash the boards because they had Tice and Horford both down there, which they didn't really have a lot in the first half. Nets can't grab a rebound to start the second half. KD's turning over the ball, and Boston is within 4. Horford 3 from 5 from 3. This happened right after Horford hit that corner 3 on the right side of the court. And then here's my little note here. Nash needs to stop setting KD up at the top of the key, get him a spot on the block, and off-ball pin downs. Boston is cooking him with the second defender, which is exactly what was starting to happen.
What a foreshadowing that was, Dylan.
Like, this is getting nasty. And then my next comment is officials changing from game 1, not allowing for off-ball shoving. Tatum gets called for 1, followed by Curry. Then Tyson Smart bang heads and turn over the ball. Next possession, Drummond gets called for illegal screen. Another waste of possession. Tatum swipes. Then Tatum gets the ball swiped away. There's been a total of 5 turnovers in the last minute and a half. Durant missed his free throws. I want to die.
When he missed those 2 free throws back to back, that was the point in the game where I went, uh-oh.
This is a problem.
Something's not right. Something's not right here. Like, wait a minute. He never missed his free throws, especially 2 in a row.
90% free throws.
This is where the game took a turn at the 4:38 mark in the third quarter. The refs are now calling every foul for both teams. Both teams are in the bonus since 4:38. Then this goes to Bruce Brown's balling because he hit a transition layup. Why isn't Dragic in the game? The fact that Dragic went didn't get until a minute and a half left in the third quarter is an absolute problem. There's no way he goes in from having 16 and a half to barely getting in. It's not like the clock wasn't stopping. There was like 20 fouls called in that third quarter.
The last 5 minutes of that quarter was painful to watch.
My next comment is, this is the longest 2 minutes in my life.
It's the last 5 minutes of that quarter was.
This has been the longest 2 minutes in basketball I've ever witnessed. It's only 2:26. It's been at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was rough.
The refs are taking control of this game. Claxton steals the pass from Smart and gets foul and misses one and airballs the other. I want to die.
Did you think that was a flagrant? Because I didn't.
No,
hell no. Hell no.
I'm completely, unless it's like a swing, I'm completely against calling flagrants in the playoffs.
Me too. There's a lot. I mean, even the Steph Curry one from earlier, I didn't think that was a flagrant either. On Tatum, I didn't think that should have been a flagrant. But
and then the next offensive possession, Bruce Brown saves the possession because Dragic had to an almost half court three because he had no time. He kicks it out to Patty, who nails a three. And then right after, Peyton Pritchard hits a tough midi and then fouls KD and sends him to the line. And that's pretty much the tale of the third quarter. Fourth quarter comes. Peyton Pritchard makes another tough midi. Nets haven't surrendered the lead all game, and the game is tied. Durant has another 7 turnovers. Peyton Pritchard takes the lead with a long 2. Kyrie grabs the board, turns it over. Brown makes a tough layup over Irving. This is Jaylen Brown. Makes a tough layup over Irving. This is when Jaylen
over for a minute.
Then I think there goes a couple possessions go by. Neither team scores. Kyrie finally gets a tough bucket to go and stop the 11-0 run.
Hit that.
It was that
was
one
that shot that bounced 8 times.
Mm-hmm. And then this is when the game started to get away. Jaylen Brown with a deep 3, Boston up 5. KD can't hit a house of the rock. The Nets are falling apart. The Nets can't buy a basket. Scoreless for the last 8 minutes. Nets finally make a bucket with Bruce. Fire Steve Nash.
Did you actually write that down? Fire Steve Nash. Oh,
some reason they just kept leaving Jaylen Brown open. I couldn't understand. Like he missed a couple. Like they just kept leaving him open. It was unbelievable. I was like,
and then he finally turned it on.
He's the only guy that's making shots. Why is he coming
and he had
around
some
the screen wide open?
He had some beautiful charges to the rim too. Beautiful.
He took Kyrie to the rim, and that was just there was nothing Kyrie could do about that. That was. But
the thing, my thing is though, one thing I always hate in the playoffs, I don't like when people overreact after the home team wins the first 2 games. I've seen it too many times where the home team will win game 1 and 2. It seems like they got the series. Game 3 comes and the other team starts responding. There's life. Like I'm literally watching the Raptors game, and I kept saying they're going to come alive in game 3, and lo and behold, they're coming alive. Well, now the game's a lot closer now, but they were balling. Gary Trent Jr. is back.
He's. You can tell he feels. I can tell. Game 2, he clearly he just shouldn't even have been out there. He just shouldn't even have been. I give him credit for trying, but it was like he had like 5-6 turnovers in like 10 minutes. Like, bro, I know you're trying, but like the body is just not there tonight. It's just, and tonight he has a spring in his step. But like I think I don't know. I know I figured Toronto would win this game. I think you did too.
Yeah, because I was like, they got to get one hype win.
Yeah, because I didn't think Philly was going to sweep them. So I figured this first game of Toronto's a hard place to play. That this was going to be the game that they win. Now, game 4, I think Philly's going to win, but
I think
we going back to this Brooklyn game. James Harden needs to step the fuck up. Like this is really getting like. Did he fall off the cliff and we didn't notice? Like,
well, Dylan noticed.
Dylan, I mean, I've been calling for it too, but like, it's becoming
nobody's watched more James Harden basketball in the last year and a half than me.
He's starting to look like he's falling off the cliff.
He's starting to look like that.
I
like
stopped
that
defending like a month ago. So
that hamstring injury literally like buried him.
Never went away. Yeah,
it buried him. Like he's not shooting well. He's not doing anything well. Like, granted, he can still facilitate. Like, good for you. But like, you're about to be the highest paid player in the NBA.
The highest paid passer.
Yeah, like, but like he can't do anything when he wants.
Yeah, it's a really close game right now.
Joel Embiid is a monster, man.
But back to the Brooklyn game really quick. Yeah, I'm not reacting. I'm not overreacting to the last 2 games because that first game.
That first game that's coming back to haunt y'all.
That first game happened. Like there's literally nothing you can do about that. That first game happened. This game could have been won.
Mm-hmm.
This game sucks because this just showed bad coaching. Like the bad rotations, the bad minute spread. Like a lot of it I just didn't understand. There came like Seth Curry was big in this game, but like there's no reason Dragic wasn't in this game in the second half more.
Nope.
He had a bunch of timely buckets. He came to ball, and it seemed like he was the one who was like pulling in everything, like reeling everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
And like you need that. And I don't know what Steve Nash was doing Like, I don't think he called a single play in the fourth quarter. A single play.
It was tough to.
It was tough to watch
their offense in the fourth quarter because it got to a point where it was just give Katie the ball, get out the way.
I never seen him struggle that bad.
Get out the way.
But the problem, they're defending him the way it's like I feel like he was trying to give Durant the ball so they couldn't ice him the second he caught it. So they let him bring up the ball, and then they would blitz.
It was a smothered bees, dude.
They would blitz him the second he got it, and doesn't even have the chance to make the right play.
Doesn't.
Not even a chance. I'm like, that's just great team defense. It's just great defense when you have a bunch of athletic wings who could just go out there and just do it.
And I said this on the pod. Dylan knows this. He could vouch for me. I've been saying this. I don't know. Maybe since we started the pod, Steve Nash is the Achilles heel of this team. He's getting outcoached, and it's bad in a series like this where clearly Boston's really good. So like it starts to you have two really good teams like this, it starts to get down to these little nitpick, these little coaching decisions, like you said, Dylan. Minutes, when to do substitutions. The fact that when Boston was going on this run in the fourth quarter, they couldn't call a timeout because they only had 3 left, and
that challenge was one of the worst challenges I've seen. Why are we doing that?
It's coach. He's being outcoached, and it's bad because I thought he got outcoached last year by Bud. So this is it's hard to blame him because honestly, he should have never got this job in the first place. But
it's tough to say that.
When
you have a, I wouldn't say the hot take, but same thing with Chauncey.
But Chauncey didn't get a championship team.
I'm not gonna say either which way, but like anytime a Hall of Fame point guard who is like renowned for his ability to lead a team is given a coaching job, I'm not going to get mad at it at first, right? I'll give everybody a chance. I gave Steve Nash my chance. I've seen 2 years and 2 playoff runs. I don't blame Steve Nash for last year, except for that final timeout, because you're fighting through adversity. And then all season he fought through adversity, and I've questioned a lot of things, but like this game is like inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. It's literally on him. Like you could take the Durant missing, like Durant not hitting his shots that he usually hits in his sleep, and the turnovers and Kyrie. Like I blame the Kyrie not showing up on Steve.
So do you think this is a matter of Kyrie not showing up? Because I feel like Boston was really to me it felt like Boston just flipped their defense from game one. Because game one it felt like Kyrie can do whatever he wants. Kevin Durant's not going to beat us.
Kyrie was going into the fourth quarter with only 6 shots taken.
This game, I felt like it was Kyrie's not going to beat us. We're going to let y'all do whatever y'all. And because Durant was playing so bad, it worked. But I felt like they focused on Kyrie's not beating us. He's not doing this again.
He just wasn't
taking shots. He wasn't hitting his shots either.
He wasn't hit. I mean,
he didn't start taking shots until like the fourth quarter. But then they weren't hitting.
Today.
He was very passive.
Now, I don't know if I think you were gone, Dylan. They did show like midway through the first, he ran to the back.
Yeah, I saw this to eat.
So maybe
got a banana.
Dehydrated. Maybe he was dehydrated.
The banana didn't do enough, apparently.
Because I mean, if he, I know how that feels when you're dehydrated. You don't want to do anything. Like it's just hard to do anything. So if he was dehydrated, then I understand, and I'm gonna I'm not gonna hold anything against him for doing Ramadan. That is his choice. But I mean, it looked.
There's still ways to get him involved.
Yeah, but it didn't stop him in game one, though. I mean,
every day is different. Every day is different.
So it's a little bit different. So the game on Easter was earlier.
It was early.
So he still got to like have the nutrients and stuff from before the sun rose.
Okay.
So he's able to do that. This was a little bit later on.
He literally had to go all day.
Oh,
traveling from the hotel, films to the walkthrough, shoot around. He had to do all of that before sunset. So it is different.
You're gonna have to bring a bunch of bananas next time, at least 3 or 4.
Well, you also can't feed yourself either.
That too.
Man,
like
2 bananas ain't gonna over. You ain't gonna overfeed
it's a
yourself.
tricky line. It's a
Still
fine
a lot,
line.
especially when you're up and running up and down the court and you're burning all those calories so fast.
It's a fine line.
It's a very fine line with that stuff. But like, even if Kyrie is passive, there's still ways to get him moving off ball. There's still ways to get him his shots. There's still ways to do it.
Or use him as a decoy.
Something, but like when you get a game where Bruce Brown's hitting all of his shots and playing unbelievable basketball, and then Dragic comes is playing unbelievable basketball, Seth Curry's hitting great shots, like Patty Mills contributed more than I thought he would in this game. And that's not me shitting on Patty. It's just like I don't think Patty can play in this game, in this series. But like, what can Ben Simmons really bring to this?
That's
what is like.
I don't see what Ben Simmons helps in this game, because it's not like it was their defense that cost them this game.
No, their defense had them in the game.
It's their offense that cost them this game. So
yeah,
it's going to be very, very interesting. All that to say, I still fully expect Brooklyn to win Game 3.
The series goes to Brooklyn, New York.
I have to see them die before. Well, if they lose Game 3, I will.
The series is over.
If they lose Game 3, I'm gonna come on the pod and say it's over.
Oh, me too.
But
me
I
too.
expect them to win Game 3. So
yeah,
I thought they'd win tonight. I expect them to win the next game.
Yeah, but Milwaukee, Boston doesn't have the same ring as Milwaukee.
Yes, it does.
Brooklyn.
Oh no, that's a good series.
No, I didn't say it's not a good series, but I'd rather see Milwaukee.
Well, there's more drama in Milwaukee, Brooklyn because of last year and everything. But
I don't know. It's like I give Brooklyn. I'm gonna give Brooklyn Game 3, but I don't know if I give Brooklyn Game 4.
Especially when Boston's playing defense. Oh no,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Brooklyn goes home and just wins the 2 home games. Like, I just don't know.
Like, especially because I've lost all faith in anything Steve Nash has done and is going to do. All faith.
I think Brooklyn, if I'm going to take a good bet, I think they go home. I think they do tie the series at 2. I think they win both games at home.
You literally.
I don't see, because again, yes, they played great defense on KD and Kyrie, but there were moments when KD and Kyrie had good shots, missing them. Like, why they're not missing those shots at home. Steve Nash can't be. I mean, let's be honest. He can't be as dumb as he was today.
Oh yeah,
can't be any dumber than he.
Oh yeah, he can.
Well, you're the Nets guy, so I mean, what I saw was dumb. If he could be any dumber.
I've seen a lot of bad Steve Nash, but like I always kind of toss it on the table because like whatever, it's the regular season, and then again last year's playoff run, you take it with a grain of salt because literally he had everything taken away from him. But then it's also he got bailed out by great players when it comes to certain decisions. So it's like you kind of just throw it away.
And Milwaukee adjusted to them, and they figured it out. And I shout out to JJ Redick because he brought something up today on TV, and he was absolutely right. Steve Nash kind of low key cost them Game 1 too, because as JJ said, that last 45 seconds was a horrendous coaching job. Giving up the layup in 5 seconds to Boston off of the timeout. They gave up when Kyrie hit that 3 and put them up 3. That should have been the end of the game.
Yeah.
And for Boston to call timeout, come out of timeout, score instantly on an uncontested layup is just inexcusable. It set up that whole crazy last 30 seconds because it was so bad. I couldn't believe they scored that fast. And then, as JJ pointed out, that play with Kyrie getting double teamed and Durant shooting that Hail Mary, there was no movement. Everybody was just watching Kyrie.
At that point, where's the timeout?
And the spacing was bad, and they didn't call a timeout. He didn't call it. He just let it rock. Kevin Durant has to take a very tough shot. I understand that's Kevin Durant, but that's a hard shot.
But the thing is, all of it gets forgiven if Durant makes that shot.
That's a hard shot. All's forgiven if Tatum doesn't make that layup.
It's all circumstances. That's why it's like Steve Nash gets bailed out by these guys because it's like at the end of the day, when you have KD and Kyrie on your team, guys who are elite shot takers and elite shot makers, like you sometimes just let them do whatever the fuck they want. because
you just learn on the
they're
job.
just gonna do things. They're gonna do things, and they're gonna do things at an elite level, and you can get away with just being a bad coach. But like, that can only get you so far. That can literally only get you so far.
And right now, it's showing.
The only thing saving Steve Nash's job at this point would be if they won the title.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I would not be shocked.
Finals,
I would not be shocked if Steve Nash got fired at any point for losing.
It depends, because I think if they get to the conference finals and lose a hard 7-game series to Miami, and they just lose Game 7 on the road, I think he'll be fine. They get to the conference finals and Philly blows their doors off, that could get him fired. If Milwaukee blows their doors off, that could get them.
I think if they run until I think they have a bad playoff series where they're just not competitive.
The problem is going to be we have to get out of this Boston series because the team that's going to defend us the best is Boston. Because no other team that we're going to run into on this playoff run is going to defend us like that.
Maybe
Miami doesn't have the guys who will do that. They have Jimmy and they have PJ. That's it.
PJ.
And Bam, but you have to worry about Bam. But Bam has got to try to stay in the interior. He's the guy they funnel to.
Miami plays team defense like Boston does. The difference
is Boston like this.
Boston has a couple elite defenders, but they have a team concept defense.
And they also have an elite defender that's not even playing, too.
Yeah, they're rim protector. Yeah. But at that point, I don't know how their lineups look when Time Lord's in for these playoff rotations. Because they're doing such a good job with Tyson Horford.
I think Tyson just doesn't get as many minutes. But I don't think when Time Lord comes back, like if he comes back in this series, I don't even think he's going to play that much because Tyson Horford are playing so well. Like I couldn't ask them for any more. I can't believe that Al Horford has found the fountain of youth because he's running I thought he was LaMarcus Aldridge. And now all of a sudden, his knees work, and he's all over the place. He's dunking the ball in game 1.
Playing defense, hitting corner threes.
He's trying. He got cooked a couple times. And, I saw Kyrie cook him a couple times.
But it's Kyrie Irving.
But that's Kyrie, though.
Exactly. But I'm saying, he's trying. He's trying. He's giving everything he has. So, but again, it goes back, Dylan, like I said, I don't understand how Blake Griffin doesn't get in this series.
That was my exact next point. Why hasn't Blake played?
Drummond didn't play bad though.
Drummond didn't play bad, but
Drummond
he can't
played great. But
he can't play the whole series. I don't understand. You're telling me, as Steve Nash, that you honestly believe that Tice is that much better than Blake Griffin? He's that much better that you can't even bring him in.
But the thing,
Claxton can't shoot free throws. He cannot shoot.
No.
Yeah, he's like 53%.
Every time
he's a 53%.
Both of our centers are 50% free throw shooters.
And when he airballed that second one, I was
like, oh my goodness.
I was like, yo,
bruh, we're airballing free throws in the playoffs. Come on, bro. What are we doing?
Homeboy really airballed that second.
Oh. But that's my point. You're telling me Blake, even for free throw purpose,
you gotta play Blake.
Blake can't get in. I think game?
Blake was the Energizer battery in our back when we got into Milwaukee last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who James Harden went down.
Giannis.
James Harden went down, and he was the guy.
I found myself rooting for Blake during Game 6 because he was playing so hard against Giannis. He was doing everything
you could ever want. He was diving for loose balls. He's getting charges. He took every defensive assignment.
This is a man that's never come off the bench in his life, and he was fine with it and doing all the grunt work. James Harden just fouled out.
Blake Griffin to me last year.
Chill, because I'm behind on my TV subscription service.
That's okay.
Blake Griffin to me last year was like, if we won a title, Blake Griffin's jerseys goes in the rafter. Like, that's literally it. And the only reason is because he went out there, put his hard hat on, and was doing all of the things you could ask for anybody to ever do. And I'm like, and if that contributed to a title, you have to put his jersey in the rafters. Like, those scrappy guys are the ones that win you. Like, everything happens.
This year, I mean, he wasn't playing horrible. I didn't understand. He would play for 5 games, then he wouldn't play for 3.
He wasn't.
Then he would play for 2, then he wouldn't play for 7.
The problem is the regular season played him out of his playoff rotation because he was not great. He had an awful team plus minus and played himself out of the rotation completely. And then it's just like, all right, cool.
It's biting him in the ass right now.
It's biting him right now because now there's very little continuity. You can't play Aldridge in this series really at all.
It's over.
At this point, you might as well put him in. See what he can give you because he's not going to give you defense. But he give you a bucket. Like, you can't tell me Aldridge in the last 3 minutes of that quarter doesn't help.
Yeah, he does
a little
help.
bit.
He stretches the floor. He stretches
but
the floor.
Then
you gotta respect that jump shot.
But then it's like, all right, cool. Now we just bring somebody close. They're going to put somebody closer to Kevin Durant because he spaces. So that's like, great.
I'm so mad I got pressed into working on Saturday, and I forgot the Brooklyn game is on Saturday.
And
I won't be able to watch.
Game. You know that's going to be the 8:30 game.
I know, man.
It is the 8:30 game.
Yep.
I literally forgot because I said yes to it, and I completely forgot that the Brooklyn game was on Saturday.
I have a wedding to go to on Saturday, and
You better have that junk on your phone.
Listen. I'm going to try and dip out. Those of you watching this on Twitch, I'm going to try and dip out so we can do this post-game show live for Game 3. I don't know if you guys want to hang around. My TV's faster than yours. Philly and Toronto are tied with 27 seconds to go. James Harden just fouled out, so but I mean, there's not much more to say except, listen, Kevin Durant, bruh. I'm going to give James his flowers because he said in our chat, because I said, we all unanimously said after game 1, oh, well, Kevin Durant's not going to play bad like that again. No way.
Played worse.
James was the only one that was like, but what if he does? Well, we found out what happens if he does. Brooklyn is in trouble.
The question is, can it get worse than this, though?
I would think not.
Yes.
I would think not.
You're going back.
You guys haven't seen the lineup of fucking Bruce Brown, James Johnson, Nick Claxton, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge.
You can't blame him.
I know, but you guys haven't seen that lineup in the season.
You don't even think that going back home to Brooklyn, the Barclays Arena, having that home crowd.
Be rocking on Saturday.
Barclays gonna be rocking. Will be rocking. You know Jay-Z gonna be there.
Barclays. The problem is the NBA media likes to say that the Nets fans don't exist. And that Barclays is always empty, but Barclays rocks.
No, Barclays is packed. I remember when the Barclays was still new, and those Knicks next games were basically secondary Knick home games when they first started off.
Not like that.
Not like that anymore.
But they were saying this last year. They were saying that last year.
60-40. When Brooklyn and the Knicks play, I would say it's probably 60-40 now, 55-45. But Brooklyn has definitely caught up because it was definitely 80-20.
Yeah, those games were fun. I can't even front. You hear Brooklyn chants, and then you hear New York chants.
Yeah, it's fun now. It's still fun, even
in MSG because the Knicks fans travel. The Brooklyn Brigade travels.
Well, it's not a long travel, but I mean they do travel.
The Brooklyn Brigade goes out there and goes to these games. There's a group of 20 Nets fans that literally hop on Greyhound buses and just travel. And they're called the Brooklyn Brigade, and they get shouted out on the Yes Network broadcasts and Twitter and all that stuff literally all the time for doing it. Whenever the Knicks fans are there, or Knicks games are in MSG, when you hear the Brooklyn chants, that's a group of 20 carrying out through MSG. And then they were there in Boston tonight, too. It's just Boston's a fucking crazy place to play.
So, I mean, Brooklyn will be loud. Brooklyn will be...
So who wins Game 3?
I still think
like Brooklyn has to.
He said,
Brooklyn literally
he's like,
has
motherfucker,
to.
we don't have a choice.
There's no choice. And I hope whatever happens in Game 3 sparks something in this team. Like, again, like I'm seeing the Ben Simmons is targeting Game 4, Game 3, whatever the fuck it is. But like, if there's no ball movement, what is Ben Simmons bringing?
What is he gonna do? I mean,
Is he going to be the small ball center that you could just switch everything on? Because that would help a little bit.
I think he gives you another ball handler. Actually, I think he gives you someone that Kevin Durant can throw the ball to, and he can get to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that helps. But I don't know. I think the real question, Dylan, what jerseys is Brooklyn going to wear? They got, because Kevin Durant seems to like these blue throwbacks.
Get those jerseys out of here. Like, I love the idea of them, but them in actual, like, them, like, in real time are awful because we don't win in those jerseys. We don't win in those jerseys.
I never liked those jerseys. I'm just being honest. I never did.
But Brooklyn wears those jerseys a lot.
They do.
I know.
They wear them a lot.
I know.
So
I like those Bed-Stuy jerseys. Those are the jerseys I like.
They were great.
Too.
They were
I
great.
like the gray.
The gray jerseys are my favorite jerseys. Those are my favorite ones.
Are fire.
I want them to wear those, but that's another jersey we don't really win games in. The winning percentage. Also,
I never see y'all wear white at home. That's always kind of been my.
We don't wear white at home.
That's always been my pet peeve ever since like Nike took over. That's like been like low key something that's annoyed me. It's just the fact that teams don't really wear white at home no more. It just feels odd sometimes to me. I don't know. I guess I'm traditional.
It can throw you off sometimes.
Well, the Lakers never really wore white to begin with. That was their alternate.
No.
That was their alternate. They always wore purple or gold.
But it's just kind of annoying sometimes. I'm looking at the games. Like, why are they wearing dark blue at home? Like, wear your white jersey. Like, I don't know, man. I'm still getting used to it.
The jerseys are meant to match the court, so that's why that's a thing. But like, as much as I like these jerseys because they are what's the word I'm looking for? Resemblance of my time as a Jersey Nets fan. That also wasn't a good time. So when we lose them, it's like, it's just like when fucking Devin Harris led that fucking 12-70 team.
By the way, Philly and Toronto are in overtime.
Yeah, they're in overtime right now. Woo! James Harden is fouled out.
I'm just
and now Harden fouling out is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a big deal. So
I want to kill myself.
But this is
and you got 3 days to just roll over this. 3 days to sit on that, man.
The best part about it is the draft's tomorrow. So
the draft is tomorrow?
Draft's tomorrow.
Oh, God. Yeah, I probably haven't paid attention to it because we don't even have a draft in the first round.
Because bad organizations do bad organization things.
Or the second round. I don't think we have a draft in the second round either.
And meanwall,
but you're over here
we're about to get Debo Samuel.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not doing shut
You're not getting no Why aren't we?
You're not getting no game.
There's not a single team that could pull up unless they're giving out multiple first round
picks. And also, Mike, y'all not looking too good either, man. I heard that AJ Brown.
We're either getting Debo Samuel or AJ Brown.
He's not reporting the kid. He's not happy with his contract.
Yeah, that's because the wide receiver market's been reset. So now
I need to open up them checkbooks for AJ Brown.
Every wide receiver is angry. Every wide receiver is gonna hold out. Like it's. Okay.
I was talking to my brother today about that because he's a diehard Titans fan. He's like, "Yo, you don't know what the organization's doing." He's like, "They need to sign, get AJ Brown whatever he wants right now before he starts running the buck."
Okay.
The Jets are either going to get AJ Brown or Debo.
What do you mean you're not worried? What do you mean you're not worried? Y'all can't afford to lose him.
Y'all cannot afford to lose him.
I'm not worried. That's why I'm not worried. Because
what does your wide receiver field look like without him?
But do you guys even have the cap space to do it?
Not for the money he wants.
What does he want though?
He's gonna want.
What do you mean? What money he wants?
26.
He wants your man's money.
Yeah.
But he's not Devontae Adams good though.
Here's the problem:
close.
every wide receiver can pull that card
He's close,
out.
but he's not there.
They can all pull that card.
But here's the thing: even
Devontae just got this, and you
just
value
said
me like
he
this.
doesn't want Adams' money. He wants like a second tier type receiver money.
Debo doesn't want to be a running back.
That's what it is.
That's the problem. He wants to be a wide receiver, and San Fran wants to keep using him like he's a fucking college wide receiver.
So they can pay him like a running back, pretty much, you know.
But still, the wide receiver money is better than the running back money.
But he's gonna get injured faster. That's the problem. And then they're gonna say, "Oh, you're worn down. We can't give you the money because you're beat down." When it was them that was beating him down. That's what his problem is, and I understand that completely. Like,
it's not like Debo's a bad receiver.
No, he's amazing.
A great receiver.
If he gets put on the trade block, oh my lord!
He already requested his trade, so
it's up to the Niners to actually grant that.
We'll see what the Niners do.
And the Niners aren't a bad organization, so they'll get a good haul for it. And the problem is going to be who can outbid the Jets. That's literally the problem. There's not a single team who can outbid the Jets unless they're giving up multiple firsts.
Unless Debo says he doesn't want to go there.
But Debo ultimately has zero chance because Debo doesn't have enough.
But if you're the Jets and you know he doesn't want to come there, why would you trade for him?
Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to see AFC team grab Debo. I think the AFC
I feel like
enough
we all know where this is going. He's gonna go to Denver because the AFC West just needs something else to happen. Like,
don't put that into existence because I was actually thinking Kansas City.
No, so they said Kansas City.
No, Kansas City.
They said Green Bay. They said
the Jets.
Detroit, and they said us.
Green Bay.
He's not going to no goddamn Detroit.
Detroit doesn't have the capital to do it. The Jets do.
The Jets feasibly would be the team, but like I said, there's no. I'm not even being funny. Like, there's no guarantee. He might really be like, no, I'm not going there. I just played the NFC Championship game, and no,
he's not. He's not going to go to the Jets. The Jaguars.
The Jets are a couple years away. Why would I do that?
Yeah, he's not
really just wants money
because he knows Salah and McDaniel and LaFleur.
But there are contenders who are willing to pay him top dollar.
Exactly.
Again, he has zero say in where he wants to go because he can say all that stuff and still be traded.
And then you do all of that, and then he doesn't show up for camp.
His problem right now, I think any team that is going to use him as a wide receiver, he's going to show up and play. Because his problem isn't the money. The problem's not the money. The problem is I want to play wide receiver. So I don't think that matters to him. Unless he went to Detroit where he'd be like, man, it sucks here. At least in the Jets, he has multiple coaches on that coaching staff that he knows and has worked with over the last 4 years. But then there's AJ Brown, and there's a certain wide receiver on the Jets that knows AJ Brown very, very well.
That's tampering right now.
Very much so, because they're teammates at Ole Miss.
But
Elijah Moore.
I'm not worried because Tennessee knows how valuable he is to us. Where he literally is just throwing a hissy fit because he's seeing these wide receivers that he's better than getting ridiculous amounts of money. So he's gonna throw a hissy fit until Tennessee gives him money. So I'm not worried. Tennessee will figure out a way to give him money to calm him down.
Everybody should be just writing mean letters to Jacksonville, the whole organization. Every single team.
Oh yeah, everybody should be so mad at Jacksonville for paying Christian Kirk $24 million.
Because it makes no sense. No,
it makes sense to them. I mean,
it doesn't even make sense. They got a tier 3 receiver for $24 million.
But again, he put up a near 1,000-yard season when Arizona needed him the most. When Hopkins went down,
he is not nearly as good as any receiver we just mentioned.
I didn't say
your receiver.
He's not as good as my
receiver. But what I'm trying to say is what he means to a team like Jacksonville. That's what I'm trying to say. What he means to a team like Jacksonville.
Resetting the market. He reset the market.
He's not even good enough to be a number 1 receiver.
But the thing is, he's a solid receiver on Arizona or on any other team. On Jacksonville, he's a necessity.
But the
That's what
problem
he
with
is.
Christian Kirk is he's a really good slot receiver who had the game open up to him, and then when Hopkins and everybody went down, he was the only one they could actually target.
Yeah, that's more than good enough for Jacksonville.
He's a maybe above average receiver who had to be the only target.
And he's like Jesus to Jacksonville, which is why they gave him that money.
There is better receivers available, and they paid Christian Kirk.
They probably didn't want to come over.
But they didn't want to come to Jacksonville. They
didn't want to come to Jacksonville. They had to overpay.
Maybe they overpaid Christian Kirk.
They overpaid.
They had to pay the Jaguars.
When you don't have the leverage, you gotta shell out more. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Maybe they came in there like, "Yo, Christian, we'll give you $17 million." He was like, "LOL." and he was like, "If you give me this," and they're like, all right.
So 4 years, 72. Yeah, that's like 72. Yeah,
That's a terrible.
He got paid. Wait, I think it goes up to 84 million if I'm correct.
With incentives.
With incentives. Ooh,
like
that boy got
Jets
paid.
got Corey Davis for $13 million. Corey Davis is better than Christian Kirk. Corey Davis is better than Christian Kirk.
He's all right,
but
they're in the same. They're in the same stratosphere.
I think
Davis
Kirk
is better,
has better hands. I think Kirk has better hands.
He did last year, I'll tell you that much. But Corey Davis's body of work as a whole is better than Christian Kirk.
But speaking of the Cardinals, what's going on with that diva Kyler Murray? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't know.
Kyler Murray.
But you want to talk about something that's got my attention, though. Now that we could talk about because they are not getting along. And listen, just like you sent me that Julius Randle trade to get Donovan Mitchell. Listen, as much as I like Tannehill, you can back his ass up, send his ass on out to Arizona to get Kyler Murray. I will take Kyler Murray over Ryan Tannehill any day of the week.
You should not like Tannehill.
It's so funny because
I'm about to say it. Like, I pack Tannehill up.
Every single person in the Titans organization turned their back on Tannehill after that play.
He was our guy.
Warned Mike for years. I've been trying to
warn our guy, and then he showed us. You have got to be kidding me.
It's so frustrating because y'all literally dominated Cincinnati that whole effing game, and he literally lost the other game with his bare hand. He didn't even have to do half the shit he was doing. He did.
Our defense.
Tried.
Yeah. He could have threw short passes, gave it off to Henry, gave it off to what's his face.
You're gonna force the ball to AJ Brown. Like what?
Yeah.
What are you doing,
Mike? I tried. I tried
to warn you.
I've been trying to warn you for a long time that he's not the one. And what did you do? Dylan, you don't know what you're talking about. Ryan Tannehill has led the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks. And every stat and everything. Yes. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm not trusting him. And guess what?
What?
It happened.
I just don't want to see Debo go.
All I know is when I saw against the Ravens, Derrick Henry was throwing more red zone passes than Ryan Tannehill was. That showed the actual belief that Vrabel has in his quarterback.
Well, I mean, listen, we have the king, so I mean
that does help out, Rod.
I let him do whatever you want to throw to. Sure, go ahead, do what you want. I'm trying to stay on before we wrap this. Philly Toronto tied with 2.6 seconds left.
A double overtime?
We might go to double overtime.
Oh, Philly so my screen isn't behind you.
Philly just had a horrendous possession. Thankfully, Doc was able to run. Doc literally had to run on the court in his timeout.
Yes, still Doc Rivers.
Can Philly steal it? Embiid for the win! Embiid for the win!
Yo, what is going on, man? I'm trying to watch this Milwaukee.
Revenge for Joel Embiid. It looked like he beat it. I don't know. Let me just see the replay.
Oh, hold up.
Oh no! You're in front of me. I haven't seen that part yet.
Oh yeah, that's clean. That's clean.
Oh, he got it.
That's clean. Yeah, that's clean. Sixers win.
Woo!
See that is scary because that's the kind of exercising the demon kind of moment that can get Philly on a run. Because that is a big shot because they should have lost this game.
Yeah, but Toronto.
Oh, there's 0.7 seconds left.
Toronto going to Toronto. Oh, it's almost
Oh,
like I
wait.
said this team was fucking cooked.
No, this game's over. I swear. If Toronto hits a 3, I'm shutting this whole post-game show down. There's no way. There's no way. So when did the ball go through the net? Oh, yeah. This time, there's actually a second left on the clock. Wow. I thought that was a buzzer beater. But, no, there's a second left on the clock. But this game's over. This game's over. Who's going to hit the 3 on Toronto? This game's over.
What a shot by Joel Embiid! Wow,
just saw it. That was that was an MVP shot. I got to give him credit. That was an MVP shot.
Wow.
Exercising the demon of Kawhi. I still don't know how Kawhi hit this shot in his face.
It's still one of my favorite shots ever.
I just don't know how Kawhi did that.
That is, to me, still like one of the greatest basketball shots I've ever seen in my life. Like, that should end in a series. That shit packed up a team that probably was going to the NBA Finals.
Was going to go to the finals, maybe had a shot at the championship. Because that Philly team was nasty. They had Jimmy Butler. That shot changed basketball.
Jimmy, JJ, Embiid, Ben Simmons. Did they have Toby? Yeah, they had Jimmy, JJ, Embiid, Ben Simmons, Toby, the TJ McConnell, Mike Scott.
Nope. Game over.
Oh, wow.
And now Embiid is yelling.
Oh, talk your shit, Joel.
Yeah, you can't say nothing to him right now. They about to pack these dudes up.
Also, quick fuck you to Mad Dog.
Oh.
A quick old fuck you. He loves himself some old school white basketball players and refuses to acknowledge anybody being better than them.
He drives me crazy with those basketball teams.
Like, what? He should not be allowed to ever talk basketball ever again with his... He doesn't know if Steph Curry is maybe a top 10 player.
Which is fine.
You can't say he's...
11,
he maybe is,
12,
maybe isn't.
All right.
But
maybe.
To say he's nowhere near it?
Exactly. For him to be like, oh, he's definitively not even close. Like, what? What are you talking about? He said today that if Devin Booker doesn't come back, the Pelicans are going to pack up Phoenix. Like, what?
Well, he's not playing in games 3 or 4.
I think Phoenix has a good chance to steal a couple games.
Exactly.
They already confirmed that he's not playing.
Confirmed that.
Phoenix is still going to win this series.
Phoenix will win the series, but
it's just going to be
New
hard
Orleans will
now.
be able to steal a series.
Yeah,
steal that
it's hard now. It's hard now.
But like Anthony says, like, oh, this series is not over. I was like, yeah, but now we have to change our perspective on the series because now Devin Booker's hurt.
Exactly.
If Devin Booker didn't get hurt, there would be no reason for me to worry about
anything. Wait, because I have seen some counter arguments that actually make sense to think about. Devin Booker did drop 31 in the first half, but Phoenix was still trailing when Booker went down.
Yeah, but he also went down with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Did he go down with 8 minutes left in the fourth?
It's a long time.
It's a lot of basketball can be played in 8 minutes. We saw 15 minutes in real lifetime happen in 2 minutes in game time today. So it was 8 minutes and 8 seconds that Devin Booker went out in. There's a lot of time on there.
That boy Brandon Ingram, he's turning into that KD light, man.
He definitely is a better diet version of the player he's supposed to be than Aaron Gordon is. Because, man, if Blake Griffin is Coke and Aaron Gordon's Diet Coke, it's fucking terrible. But, man, if KD's Pepsi and Brandon Ingram's Diet Pepsi, like, that's a pretty good can of Diet Pepsi.
I think no NBA team gonna have a problem with KD. Like, nobody gonna have a problem with that.
He's balling.
Yeah, Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy he still thinks is like the best point guard of all time. He changed the game, the way the game was played.
That's fine.
He's still living?
Bob.
No, he's before
Anthony. Oh.
Trust me, he was really good, but like no.
He's really good for not being able to do a simple crossover.
Yeah, like that's why it was so funny when JJ Redick said, like, forgive Chris Paul. And to his point, the point that JJ was trying to make is that Kyrie is unbelievable, and Chris Paul in his prime is better than Kyrie, arguably. But that was the point he was making.
He's a better point guard than Kyrie is.
If you drop Kyrie in the 1960s, their minds would have exploded with the stuff that Kyrie can do. So, like,
besides the fact that he's black, because in the 60s they were nice to black people.
Wait, but Cousy was a 50s guy, right?
Yeah,
wasn't Cousy? Yeah, Cousy.
50s, 60s.
Yeah, but he was mainly 50s though. Who else? Him, Paul Arizin.
It's just
Dolph Shays, like.
Like it's a wild thing. They're like, if you put Kyrie in the 1960s, they'd be looking at Kyrie like he's a wizard.
But it's funny, wasn't this like the first or second episode we did when we talked about that NBA top 75?
Yeah.
That was either the first or the second episode, one of those, and we talked about the different eras and how do you make the
I said get Bob Cousy the fuck out of there. I don't care.
I was saying we talked about Bob Cousy.
But here's the thing, though: are we even credible to even judge Bob Cousy though like that?
Yeah, we are.
You just have to judge it off of.
You saw my notes. I'm thorough. I love the game.
This
because
is a different era.
Because listen, our dads were barely even around when he was playing.
Mine wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even forget us. We're not even talking about our parents either. So it's just like, unless you're going back and watching a bunch of vintage 1950s videos and footage, like what? How do you make this comparison? Like, if somebody,
I've seen a bunch of Bob Cousy. I actually have watched a lot of Bob Cousy, and there's not a lot that he did that like I could go back into the 50s and dominate because he was playing against nothing but like podiatrists and fucking firemen. He ain't dealt with a banker. I'll cook his ass.
No, but that's actually true though, because the salaries weren't
yeah, all these guys actually had like real jobs, like other
jobs. They were doing like daytime. They had. Yeah,
But like, it's hard to see what the game is, and like Bob Cousy was great for what the era was, but if you put Bob Cousy in any era, he's awful.
I think he could survive the 60s.
He played in the 60s.
Yeah, like the 50s and 60s. Once he gets to the 70s,
he could have played in the 70s.
Yeah, he could have.
The 80s is where it would have started to turn. By the 90s, he would have been cooked.
Yeah.
80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. He has just 50 years.
Like, I put you this way. Russell Westbrook would be a terror for them. He'd be the boogeyman back then.
We'd be talking about, if we're talking about Bob Cousy, the way we're talking about that Mad Dog's talking about Bob Cousy, we'd be talking about Russell Westbrook like he's the fucking greatest thing to ever happen.
Well, Russell Westbrook would have put up Chamberlain numbers.
He would have.
Yeah.
He would have.
He would have put up Russell. He would have put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers back then.
Yeah. He would have put up Chamberlain numbers.
Unbelievable. So like, that's why it's just hard. It's hard. Like, Cousy's a great player, but like, don't disrespect. Like, why are you disrespecting Chris Paul? Why are you disrespecting Kyrie? Like, stop.
Fucking Mad Dog. Why is he talking basketball?
I mean, he
just bring JJ back every day.
He still thinks Larry Bird is the best small forward ever, and LeBron is not even in the top 5. And like,
every time I say something about Steph Curry being the greatest shooter of all time, my dad comes about nowhere. He goes, "I think a guy named Larry Bird would like to have a word." I'm like, "Yeah, he would fucking light Larry Bird up for half court."
Hey, don't mess with the Larry Bird things, man. Yeah, don't mess with
Larry Bird's great.
Can do wrong. He can do
don't mess with that Larry Bird things.
Larry Bird would have been able to guard Jordan, LeBron, Allen Iverson.
At the same time.
There's no player he was just a perfect player. He could guard all of them. He could shoot better than everybody. He rebounded. He passed. There was nothing he couldn't do except beat Magic. With two Hall of Famers on his team.
It's funny because I was watching.
You can see. I'll let you go in a second. I was like, "There's no way you can see Steph Curry just shoot a ball from half court." like all net and then say that guy's not the best shooter of all time.
Like
nowhere near.
The stuff
It's
Steph Curry would
ridiculous.
be doing to Danny Ainge back in the 80s would be illegal. Like it's not even funny what Steph would.
And he would have did it without the 3-point line. He'd just be shooting far just because.
Yeah. Oh man. Jeez,
what were you gonna say, Anthony? Before I cut you off?
Nah, I don't even remember. No, but I was watching I was catching up with the Lakers show, The Winning Time on HBO, and the way they kind of like frame it was like there was kind of like that. I don't want to say racial tension, but it was kind of like that racial preference as far as like the whole Bird Magic thing.
Yes, because that was actually like real.
Yeah,
that was real. I don't like that they kind of portrayed Jerry West as that to start off with, and then
he wants an apology from that show.
Yeah, they're initially, I was sitting there, I was like, are they about to say that Jerry West is fucking racist?
I didn't know he was that angry.
I don't think he was, because apparently, from what I understand about the Showtime Lakers, because that's one of my favorite teams ever. I love Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson.
That's one of my favorite teams ever too.
Magic Johnson's arguably like one of my favorite players ever. Like him, Kevin Durant, Trace McGrady, like all those guys. Magic to me is the greatest point guard to ever play the game of basketball. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? Fuck John Stockton. But like when they went to and they're talking to Jerry West on the golf field, on the golf course, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take Magic," and he's just like, "What? I have a point guard. I have a point guard." I'm just like, yeah, like I know you have a point guard, and we know now that it was like a black guy, but for me, I was just like, are they about to say Jerry West is fucking racist? Because I have a problem with that. I have a fucking problem with that. So it's like, from what I understand, his transition from coaching to like the front office was like gradual and okay, and not like full of meltdowns the way they portrayed it. But at the end of the day, it's a show. So like, I get why they have to enhance the drama.
Yeah, of course. You know, like I think they did a really good job on the show. Like personally,
and they're all doing a really good portrayal of. I don't know if you're all caught up or not.
But I didn't watch the last 2 episodes yet. But I love what they did with Kareem. I love Kareem's act. I love Magic's acting.
Kareem's character is so spot on from what I know. So spot on, and Magic Johnson's addiction to pussy is my favorite thing.
I knew that.
I know, like we all knew it. Like Janice is like, "Oh my god, he's having sex with a lot of women." I was like, "Yeah, some guys had drugs. Magic had pussy."
Nah, like this one of his teammates actually wrote like this new article on him recently, where like he went into bigger detail about Magic, how much of a whore he was. They said he was doing like legit 9 girls a day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just 9. It was an average day for Magic Johnson. Like 9 girls a day.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Stay hydrated. This was before Gatorade. Before Gatorade, Magic is a goat.
Like, bro, how do you even have the energy for that? And you have to play basketball. He said he was doing this on game.
He's doing all of that, and then him guys being, my favorite meme of all time.
That just didn't make no sense to me. I don't know how one human being has all that kind of energy like this. That's beyond me.
My favorite character in that show is Michael Cooper. I'm a very big Michael Cooper guy because I'm sitting there, I'm like, Michael Cooper! He turns out to be super important! Michael Cooper! And then they sit down Homeboy and they're like, hey, Coop, you're getting the start. You're going to be following around Homeboy. He's like, what? Me? I'm like, yes, Coop. Go knock down threes.
And play scathing defense.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, the whole time I'm like, I don't remember how Pat Riley got the coaching job. And I'm like, oh, okay, I remember now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, cool, this is going to be great. And Janice is like, so they go through like 3 head coaches in one season? I'm like, well, yeah. Yeah, kind of. And then Magic Johnson becomes the man for a decade. So... Yes.
And Pat Riley becomes one of the greatest coaches ever.
Of all time. And fucking Magic Johnson is the greatest Laker and greatest point guard to ever play the damn game of basketball, because without him, the NBA is not a thing anymore. So, And Bird. I'll give Bird his credit too. Without Magic and Bird, there's no NBA.
White America on. White America, Magic.
Everybody loved Magic. Everybody wanted a piece of Magic.
But we're gonna wrap up this post game show, especially since Anthony's under attack. So we're gonna wrap up.
Sorry about that.
Post game show. Any final words? Are we gonna? I've got Brooklyn in Game 3. Despite everything,
Nets aren't dead yet.
I just can't see Kevin Durant playing bad 3 games in a row. I have to see that happen. So.
Well, I did say Brooklyn in 7. I'm a man of my word, so I will say Brooklyn for Game 3.
I said Brooklyn in 6, and I'm getting.
I don't know about y'all Brooklyn in 6 people. You might have to respect. You might have to respect that statement.
But would it really surprise you if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving led team went on a 4-game run?
Yes, it would. 4 games in a row? Hell no. That's
because all they have to do is win 1 road game. They still only have to win 1 road game.
Yeah, 3 of the next 4 are in Brooklyn.
Oh, all right.
So it's like it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility, and I don't think it's like a long shot for this to happen. Like these are 2 guys who have made their livelihoods and their living and their legacy on playing tough basketball at the toughest levels.
But I would agree with you if I saw Tatum and Brown playing to their fullest potential, but I didn't see that in Game 2. Like, especially Tatum, you know. He hasn't had a Jason Tatum game yet. Like,
I'm talking about. Did you see Game 1?
No, Game 1. No. I'm talking about a Tatum game. I'm talking about
a Tatum game.
I'm talking about a 40 burger. Like, I'm talking about those kind of games. Like, those type of Jason Tatum games. Like.
The thing is, if we're going to expect Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, what people don't realize that Jaylen Brown's skill set isn't like that great in the playoffs because he's not like a really good shot creator the way Tatum is, and he's going to be turned more into like that defender role who gets his buckets in transition.
A 3-and-D guy.
A 3-and-D guy who can occasionally pull up and get you a nice midi.
That's good. He showed his ass tonight. His ass tonight.
But like that's also to me the best version of Jaylen Brown you're going to get.
And that's fine.
Fine.
I think Boston will take that every day of the week.
I don't think if they're expecting Tatum and Brown to have the 30 each, like 30 and 30, I don't know if that's going to happen in the series. You're more likely to see Tatum have like 35 and Brown have 25 to get that 60. But like, and if he even has that 15, that 25, how is he going to get it? So the only real shot creator they have is Tatum, and he's going to be the guy who's going to get you your buckets like that. But I need to have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving show up.
Yeah, because if they don't show up, this is all mute.
You need Kevin Durant to show up.
But I'm gonna just leave you with this. If Kevin Durant does not show up,
panic button, suicide watch.
Kyrie has another bad game.
Suicide watch.
Booker could get swept.
Suicide watch.
And
they can't go down 3-1. I don't care if they win Game 3. They got to win Game 4 too. They go down.
Oh yeah, there's no more. Like you can afford to lose this game. It's a suicide watch. This is like
cross that bridge when we get there.
You have to win every game that's in front of you now. Like you can't rest up. You can't do anything because I will be on suicide watch. It'll be really hard for y'all to do. It'll be very hard for y'all to do. Over the top. Suicide watch. Okay. Oh, here's James.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
Here he is.
Just in time for the closing remarks.
Time for the closing remarks.
Let's go. Let's jump out right now.
Oh man. Yeah, what are your closing remarks, James?
The Nets suck.
And the stream.
Yep.
And the stream.
They suck. Again, just gotta say that. And that was a really heartbreaking game. They got a big lead in the beginning, and Jason Tatum is Dylan's daddy. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
You weren't here earlier, James, but I did give you your props because you did say, "What if Kevin Durant has another bad game?" And we were
I
all like,
said you hope.
"There's
I
no
said
way
you
he'll have
hope.
another bad game."
I'm not staying here for this slander. End the stream.
Hey, I am base god reincarnated. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Well,
If we lose game 3, suicide watch. It's legitimate suicide watch. This will be very hard for y'all to do a podcast without an editor.
Hey, I mean,
Suicide watch.
you probably went back and listened back to the pods. Did I say 6 games or 7 games for this series?
7.
Yeah, I think you said 7.
Yep, I think it's
Me
gonna
and
go.
Dylan said 6. We're sweating over here. We're sweating.
Gonna go 7 though.
Hey man, in order to win in 6, the other team has to win 2 anyway.
They got to get 2. So
they got to get 2.
Get 2. Got that out the way.
That's our positive. That's the positive swing we'll add to it before I fucking kill Steve Nash myself.
All I know is that Dylan right now is here.
Steve, if we get
here,
if we lose this series, if we lose this series, Steve Nash is going to be right up there with Billy King for Nets public enemy number 1.
Hey man,
listen. Can't do it.
But thank you everyone for joining us on our first live stream. You'll be getting more. We'll be back Saturday night post game 3. We will be back to recap, which I'm sure will be a crazy game. Hopefully Dylan will be here and won't be on suicide watch.
I'll create a suicide watch graphic.
You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, notification button. We'll let Dylan get out of here first. We'll let Dylan get the solo layout first. And take us on our goodbyes once the graphic is done.
Appreciate y'all for dealing with me and my bullshit, being here in my time of need.
So
I'm down bad. We're not on suicide watch yet, but
3 days.
Do not let us go down. No, not holding down tears, but I'll tell you what. When Peyton Pritchard hit that layup, I was like, I'm fucking out of here.
That floater,
and that's right after I said I'll be in the room with 0-0-0. And here I was with 45 seconds. I'm like, hey, I'm in here. He's like, that layup put you in. I'm like, that layup put me in. I can't do it. Can't live with it. Can't live without it. Playoffs. Appreciate y'all for being here for our first live reaction recap video. Appreciate y'all. Go Nets. Fuck you, Steve Nash.
Yes. Like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, we're going to be doing more. We're going to be doing things better. And just for y'all, because we like y'all. Follow me on Instagram, Enoch313. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me everywhere where it matters. And you guys have a great night. We will see y'all on Monday.
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you won't
Saturday
be here.
I won't be on Saturday. I'll be at the club dealing with a bunch of college kids. But yes, you will see me on Monday.
Yes. And it could be a very fun show for you on Monday. That laugh.
Oh, I get to say goodbye. Yeah, I get to say hi and goodbye. That's great, guys. This is just great times. Just
showing them to the group project, getting an A and doing nothing.
Yeah, that's how things go, man. Go nuts, That's Dylan, what's the matter, man?
Goodness. Thank you for watching first live stream. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on the socials. Follow me on the socials, IAM_MBJ. We will be on Twitch on Saturday. Gonna try and get YouTube up for you guys also. But yeah, just follow us. We're growing. We're moving. We're moving. Be on the lookout for our post game show on Saturday. And with that, again, I will say have a good night. Dylan, it was okay.
That's loose.